All right, all right. We don't have a fancy video for you because Ram's not here. Ram's not here, man. But you know who is here? One of our excellent partners in, well, building, Mr. Weapon XYZ. Here you go. Boom. There you go. All right. Yeah. Hey, we're starting off nice and easy. We got Hawkeye in the chat already. Good to see you. Mr. Vino, excellent. You two get first and second prize for being right on time. So yeah, it's one of those things where Ram's not here, so we're going to try and wing it as best we can. He, of course, is the graphical talent of the pool, so I run tech, and Weapon over here is the man with the plan.
Usually.
God bless you to your missus, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, hey, Darth Dev, we got you. I see you there. Cool.
What up, buddy?
We're looking good. So, the billing for today was, 2 is 1, 1 is none. Cover your ass mindset. And I think that's really important because one thing is better than nothing. But if that one thing fails, then you're up the creek. You still have nothing. And whether it be tech or something mechanical or anything, entropy wins the day. Expect a failure. Yep, exactly. So, Ram put the tagline on there, how many guns can you conceal? Well, I mean, I don't know. You can usually do 2 or 3 around your belt easily, and then you could do an under the shoulder. You could do, a leg holster or 2, an ankle. That might be a little bit too much of a loadout for some people. I think 2 is probably the magic number if you're going to carry something. And ideally, in my opinion, they're going to share magazines so that you can carry on that way too, just in case. What do you think, Weapon?
Oh, you already know what tribe I'm from.
Yeah, I know. Tell the people.
I would say 2 is probably my magic number, but I also carry other stuff as backup as well. I'm definitely a part of the 2 is 1 and 1 is none mindset.
Hey, we got a special guest on in here. Unexpected and so pleasant to see you. Come on up. Hello, Hawkeye. How are you?
What's up,
hey,
buddy?
guys?
Thanks for joining in. Appreciate you dropping in on us. Did
Ram
put you up to this, or is this all you?
What'd you say?
I said, did Ram put you up to this, or is this all you? Either way, I'm happy to have you on board.
Oh, I just thought I'd help out.
Well, you are a very, very helpful individual. I appreciate it. So what's your take? How many would you prefer to carry on you as a general rule?
Well, when I was about 90 pounds heavier, I could carry about 3 micros under my roll. But if I got one and I know it works, that's good enough. And I always carry a knife, so I guess that's 2.
Okay. Well, but thank you, Weapon. And, carrying a knife, excellent. It's always good to have a less lethal wink option. As far as I go, I usually run with my 19 in this. I will occasionally, and I know I just said it's good to share a magazine, but I will also occasionally have my P320 in this tucked up front. And all the same,
your camera's black, brother. If you're trying to show us, yeah.
Uh-oh. My light's showing fine. Hawkeye, can you see me?
I see blackface.
Yeah, I see nothing, dude.
Okay. Well, y'all talk for a second amongst yourselves. Let me just close out my camera and restart that, yeah?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. If you got one weapon that you're, comfortable with and it works, unless you're a policeman or somewhere like a detective or something where you're worried about having one not work or taken and you have another one. I could see carrying two, but a good firearm with a knife is pretty much all you need.
Well, so can you see me now? It's
I
like a
see you
Verizon
now.
commercial. Okay, good. That was weird. I literally just stopped and restarted the cam. Gotta love tech.
Also, 100% depends on my activity.
That's true. I mean, I got to admit, I have nowhere near the stress that you guys have living in the city. I just don't have to put up with this stuff. So when I go out, go into town and stuff, I got a gun that works. I got either a 4-inch or a 3-inch knife on my hip. Okay, I'm ready.
Well, I will usually, bare minimum, carry the 19, a little flip knife, like easy access in my pocket, and then ideally a backup on the other side. Because it's easier to carry them than it is, other things. But then, you have two magazines ready to go in addition to when you got loaded in. You should be fine. Should be.
Yeah, I mean, it's your situation. I mean, if I'm all of a sudden in a situation or living in a time where, tanks and the war's going on, I got an AR, probably a 9. I got 9 pistols all over me. I got 100 plus rounds of ammo. Let's go for it. But I don't live like that, so
right.
That's an excellent point. You got to know your situation.
My day to day is my day to day is a 19, and then this handy dandy little beast.
Gotta love them flick knives. Where I live has been getting significantly more dangerous as the days go by, which is kind of sad. I found it rather ironic that my boss and one of the other higher ups had a meeting with the chief of police about security in the downtown area, and literally an hour after their meeting, there was a shooting a block away from where the meeting was held.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like you said, know your situation. It's that be prepared thing. And that's another thing where being able to build our own comes in handy, because you never know exactly what you're going to need. But if it does fail, intimately how it's put together, so you can take it apart, or you can at least look at it and try and troubleshoot it. Yeah. There are people out there that don't know how to do that at all, period. And that's dangerous in and of itself, I think.
Yeah. Well, what dictates to me and what I carry is the situation. And to be honest, I really don't carry my P80s or any of my builds, mostly because they weigh more than what I carry. I like a small gun that I can keep in my back, and I don't need 16 rounds in it weighing and pulling my pants down. I mean, if the situation was different, I'd have suspenders and I'd have a 4 or 5 on there. but you gotta really think about your situation, what you're carrying, what other people see. I mean, if you're carrying, say, a big 17 with an extended clip on it, and it's there in your back and it's sticking out like you got a boner in your ass, come on,
looking like
guys.
John McClane from Die Hard and shit.
Yeah.
that might be slightly problematic. Yeah, it's I was joking the other day with a friend that I should start carrying my 34, because I'm a big guy. I would look relatively small, but on the other hand, if I'm holding a 26, it's a 2-finger gun. It's like it barely fits in my hand because it's so small.
Well, when I carried a bigger gun, I used to carry a 911 a lot, or a Beretta Model 92. Yep. I always carried them in shoulder holsters. They were concealable that way. But even those got to be a pain. I mean, that's a big rig to lug around if you really don't need it at all the time.
True. And,
But like I said, I don't live in the city. I live about as far out of the country as you can get and still go to town and get groceries.
Right.
Yeah, and that has a benefit because unfortunately with a lot of people comes a lot of problems.
Exactly.
I'm just a hop, skip, and a jump from downtown Minneapolis, so.
Dang, I pity you.
Yeah.
Sorry for you, buddy.
I'm like halfway between y'all, as far as big city and out in the country goes, and I'm happy with it in general. But like I said, our big city, our downtown, has been getting concerning lately. So,
Dude, I'm even seeing it here in the nicer suburbs where I live. Just outside of Minneapolis, starting to get a little iffy.
yeah,
Lots of break-ins, lots of car thefts.
and I mean, obviously that's not going to require having a firearm on you because deadly force. Which didn't we just recently discuss that on some channel one way?
We sure did.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed out on that. I hope that was the microphone squeaking. Yeah, I missed out on that. I'm sorry. Work's been
Oh, you're
taking
good, buddy.
left, right, center. But do any of our viewers happen to have any comments on that? Because we've got 8 people watching us right now. Thank you all for joining in. And I mean, we already said hello to a bunch of the normals, regulars. We got Mr. Vino, obviously Hawkeye. Thank you, Darth Dav, Danny Zuko. Appreciate y'all. But please chat it up. If you have any questions, you can throw them up between 4 question marks. It's easy to eyeball that kind of a thing. We can certainly try and answer them, but would also like to get your comments back too, because this is us chatting with you. Uh-oh, there go the lights over Weapons House.
That was my kitchen light.
Oh, God.
Sure.
Was I supposed to leave that on?
Nope, leave it off, baby. You're fine.
Okay. My bad.
That's okay. The world goes on without us.
That's right.
But honestly, I would like personally to be more out in the country, but what I do for work kind of necessitates being not in the country. So, it's that fine balancing act between loadout and perceived danger and actual need for safety, I suppose. But I think we all agree having one good piece on you, plus a knife, maybe even something else like a pepper spray or something. Just don't get anything confused like some people do.
Only in Minneapolis, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Well, these things do happen.
Taser. No, that wasn't a taser.
Taser don't go boom. I mean, if it does, then you've got problems.
But I agree with you, Nas. I like carrying 2 blades. I think I had mentioned. Had to have been at least 2 shows ago. I had a friend who was kidnapped. Once again, I mean, I lived in a very rough neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend who was kidnapped due to some money owed or something. But he was carrying 2 pocket knives. One they found, one they didn't find. The one they didn't find, he was able to cut his ropes. He was able to get free, but wasn't able to escape. But he was able to at least get free. So that something like that could save your life in a situation.
Free hands and a knife gives you options for defense. Better than nothing. And if he'd only had one, he would.
I carry my big blade of some sort, and then I carry something smaller, more concealable, either on a inconspicuous
more
place.
Concealable.
Yep. Inconspicuous place, keychain, wallet.
You don't want something bigger?
Were you gonna gut something there?
I mean, depending on the need.
I mean, that's
pretty good size right there.
That's pretty lengthy.
You only need one good insert, but anyway. Hey, Mike, thanks for commenting out. High-speed internet is necessary for work because technology, but yes, you're right, damn technology. It's great when it works sometimes. It sucks when it doesn't all the time, but it's how I make my living, so I can't complain too much.
And if it wasn't for high-speed internet, I wouldn't have a job either. So
and we wouldn't be here right now. So
I'm there with you.
I do appreciate where we're at, and it's certainly better than the dial-up days. Hey, get off the phone. I want to connect to the local bulletin board system before the internet existed.
Yeah, you live in the country here in Minnesota. Good luck with internet speed. Otherwise, I would live out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah,
Wow.
break out the tin
Really?
can.
I got
Yeah.
fiber optics before anybody in town got it.
Jeez.
Nice. Very cool. The only problem
Oh,
with
dude,
fiber
out here in the
optics is
country,
if
they're
you
still
sit in the
using
line.
fucking string and 2 tin cans.
That's okay. Might be better than Spectrum. Darth Dav comment that always EDC a knife and a tactical pen, a 380 of 2 different kinds. All right. FS92 and 1911 are for home defense. Okay, fair enough. But you have a plan and you have a backup. And a backup for the backup for your knives just in case you either, have a malfunction or run out of ammo. Because, what was it? Clint from Thunder Ranch said,
Or
something
lose
along-
your weapon.
Yeah, it said something along the lines of, oh, hey, we got spammers here. Let's block your block.
Beat me to
Well, I'm usually good at swinging the band hammer.
it.
But
I'm still waiting for my adult dating from last week.
Oh, well, you know what? Don't hold your breath too much. Usually when we hit them hard, they don't come back.
Nas took away all your Russian brides.
Yeah, really.
I left the Filipino ones, though. Just the Russian ones are gone. Don't miss AOL dial-up. I don't think anybody misses AOL dial-up. You know the best use I found for those AOL CDs that they used to mail out all the time? Target practice. Pull! Oh, goodness. But even then, you'd have to have 2 of those in case you miss one. No kidding. But, oh, God, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just a bit tired. I've been under the weather the past few days.
Oh, brother, you're not alone.
It's going around, but at least it's not the pandemic thing still. So, yay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm just a sore motherfucker today. I worked out a little too much yesterday and hurt myself a little.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's showing. You're looking slim there, bud. That's all good.
Thanks, bro.
Darth Dav, Hawkeye, supply chain holdup. Yeah, it could be for that. Oh, man. Well, yeah. Oh, man. That's brutal. They could be stuck on a boat. Or maybe they went through the Ukraine. I don't know. Yeah, Ram asked me to host. I'm like, yeah, I can do the tech aspect of it. I'm like, but I don't talk so very much sometimes. Oh, I'm just brutal. But okay, so I don't don't put this out there a lot, but I DJ a lot. And even then, I'm going with 2 of everything that I possibly can, even a laptop. Because, hey, again, entropy wins. Something is going to break. Something is going to break down in your system. So having a backup is a necessity, whether it's a cable or an adapter or laptop, whatever the case may be. I think that in the case of having a second and not needing it is better than the alternative by any stretch. But
redundancy, man. I'm all about redundancy.
Well,
in everything. I mean, if possible.
When I buy stuff, I usually get 2, just to have one for when the other one breaks, or I found out the other one isn't exactly what I wanted, or I mean, a lot of times, if you don't buy them when you can't get the stuff you need when you need it. I mean, I got a whole wall of fishing lures and stuff that I've bought where I've stocked up on them so I can get them when I need them.
Yep.
And the same thing with gun parts. When I buy gun parts, it's usually at least 2 at a time. One for now and one for the next build, something like that.
And when the next build comes along, I'm guessing you then buy another 1 or 2 of all the parts so that way you don't run out, right?
Right. And when you're building and you're everyone says get Glock parts, get Glock parts. Well, that's fun. That's great. They work good. But in reality, you need to know how these parts work. So you buy 2 and you get aftermarket stuff. You buy 3 or 4. Anyway, you have to learn how to fit this stuff, because a tight fit is what's going to give you that better grouping that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And the same thing when you carry. I don't see no reason to carry a gun and a knife, or if you're living in the city, carry an AR. I mean, look what they're doing in Pennsylvania now. If you go to 7-Eleven.
I don't know about carrying an AR with me, but I will say, if you are going to carry, make sure you carry the right way. You don't want to do like this right here. Get a holster for it and carry it the right way. And if you do get a holster for it, make sure you put it in the right way.
Are you happy to see me, or is that a gun in your butt?
Yeah. And
that one.
It's one of those things. You got to know how to use your gear, because that's just an accident waiting to happen. But yeah.
And if you notice how he carried that, that's probably why his pants are down and his crack showing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I still don't understand how they do that on TV. Grab a pistol, put it in your waistband, and it's fine. Every time I try that, it falls through, or my pants come off, or it just don't work. I'm doing something wrong.
At this point in my life, if I tried that, it would go right down my pants leg and hit the ground. I mean, there's too much room between the fabric and my skin nowadays. But
we were watching something last night, and the guy grabs a 1911. He's got a pair of slacks on with a little pussy belt on. He sticks it in the front, and it just stays there. Have you ever had a 911 in your hand? I mean, you're talking some weight here, especially loaded. And that's a wonder he didn't blow his dick off or fall through. I don't know. These must be plastic guns on TV, because the weight just doesn't. I used to carry a
Beretta like that back in the day, but it was in the small of my back.
Yeah, well, that's a little different.
But keeping my pants up was a constant fucking battle.
Exactly.
Yeah, that weight's going to pull you down. Now, as far as, TV and such, a lot of the times they are just props, especially after, Alec and Rust. Always look in every chamber, Alec. Anyway, but even then, they always have that ankle holster backup piece. That's the classic TV backup,
Yeah. My stepfather used to carry a backup ankle pistol. I got it after he died. I got most of his gun. I tried that. I didn't like it. The gun he carried in it, it was cheap. And it didn't work. I don't know why he carried it around. I could never get it to function.
Maybe he was planning on throwing it at him.
Evidently.
That was the backup strategy.
Yeah.
The precursor to the Glockerang.
But he was an Illinois state trooper. And
okay.
He carried that. And evidently he never practiced with it, because something was definitely wrong with the inners of it. It was a 9mm. I don't even remember the name of it. I tried to sell it, but nobody would buy it. It was such an off-brand. But his main weapon was a Glock 17 at the end of his career. He started out with a 38 revolver. I have both of those.
Oh, nice.
The revolver we've sent back to Smith & Wesson, and they've completely redid it.
Oh, nice.
So it's like a collector.
Very cool.
The Glock 17 he had. If anyone's ever seen my pictures of the P80 or P40 line I got 2 of them now. I'm getting ready to build another one to go with the set. That was the very first build I ever did that because, to be honest, I never did like Glocks, and that was the first one I ever got from
I'm right there
him.
with you.
And I always wondered, well, what can I do with this thing? And I started researching, and I found out you can do a whole lot. And then I got into P80s, but
Yeah.
that was one of the first custom builds I ever did.
Well, I mean, for what it's worth, I'm not a big fan of the Glock hump. I appreciate the platform for what it did for the P80s, but the actual grip itself on a Glock. Thanks, Anton. No thanks.
Yep. It's
really
the ergonomics for me, which
Yeah,
is what
and
attracted me to polymer 80s because of the 1911 style grip,
which
I was already accustomed to.
yeah.
So
yeah. Well,
I
go ahead.
I kind of like that hump myself. It has a tendency to keep your aiming down, because if you build your build right, you choke up on it. Well, that hump helps you choke up, and therefore it helps hold your aim down. Without that hump, you'll find yourself aiming high and have to adjust a lot more.
Huh.
Well, anyway, that's the way I feel about it. Maybe right, maybe wrong.
I mean, I don't know if it's right or wrong. It's right for you, and that's the way it should
Yeah.
be. I mean, everybody's a little different. Now, in Massachusetts, you are mandated to go through an NRA course, or they have a couple other ones, but that one's the basic one. And for the one that I had to do, I remember that they had like 3 different Glocks. It's like, okay, cool. Can we try something else? But
Yeah.
all right, what do you got, Darth Dad? I don't like Glocks, but I like my pistol. Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Same, dude. Same.
So of the our 2 big, I'm going to call them our 2 big build platforms. So we got the Glock 3rd gen mostly, and then the SIG P320. I like the SIG grip. It's really nice. It feels good in hand. But they're
really want to do
expensive
one
to
of these
build.
days. Yeah,
They're
that was
so expensive.
Yeah, that's the
stopped
only
me from
reason I
doing it.
never got into those.
Yep.
If I had the bucks, I would be building 911 or 1911. Yeah.
I want to try that, but I want to do the 2011 variant because I want to try a double stack. But that's just personal me, whatever.
Yeah. Think about how much that sucker weighs.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I am. When I run out of bullets, I can beat him to death. It's a good club, if nothing else. What was that Marco Grouch routine? I have half a mind to join a club and beat you over the head with it. But that is in essence the backup in that case. But 1911s are not light. And crickets.
Yeah, I would love to do a SIG platform, but we all know how I like to build, and I don't spare any expense when it comes to my builds, and
Even the basic?
just a base SIG build is $1,000. Then you gotta add in all the custom stuff I would do to it. Next thing you know, you're up to $2,000.
And then if you follow the protocol of like Hawkeye said about getting 2 of every part, just so when one fails you've got a backup, then you're at $2,000. You can go out and buy 2 or buy 3 even for that price. I mean, but it's nice to know.
That's why I like doing a lot of custom stuff to the P80s and now the Lone Wolf. You can do all kinds of stuff to the frames and the slides and everything. You still got a functional firearm that's easy to work on and cheap parts.
I haven't tried the Lone Wolf myself yet. I just haven't had the opportunity to do so, but I do appreciate all the custom, carving and stippling you do on your work there, Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I need to get into that a bit more myself.
One thing about the Lone Wolves compared to the P80s is there's a lot more stock on there to do your carving.
Okay.
The P80s, I would always add JB weld on them and build them out.
Mm-hmm.
I'd take the texture off and I would build them out so that the frame's still the same size. but that way I don't have to worry about getting through the thin plastic. With the lone wolf, you don't have to worry about that. There's plenty of plastic all over. You can carve whatever you want on those things. They got a lot of plastic.
Yeah, a lot more material.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. I have felt sometimes like the P80s are just a little thin. Like if I sit back too hard on this, is it gonna warp? I don't know.
Yeah. If you're working on a
I'll be right
P80,
back, guys.
you know where the trigger housing pin goes through?
Yep.
Just up at the top of that, where the rail's at, that is super thin right there. You do not want to start carving anything up in there because it will go through in a heartbeat.
Good to know.
And another area that's real thin is where the grip goes around the front. That radius, where the radius starts, there's a tangent down through there. That's real thin. You got to watch that too.
Okay.
I know.
Good advice.
I know.
Yeah, you cut through one or two, did you?
Yeah, and that's what got me started. Well, okay, I ain't doing this no more. I'm going to build what I want on top of what they have, and that way I don't have to worry about it.
But can you stipple JB welds?
No,
yeah.
That's why you have to plan around all that.
Gotcha.
When you do that, I haven't found anything that stipples yet. That glue, that it's a Loctite 880, I think, or 80 or 380, something like that, that they're recommended to use on gluing in the rails on these lone wolves. That stuff is awesome. I mean, you can put it on and it sticks to anything. It dries. You can sand on it. You can carve on it. But I haven't tried to stipple with it yet. But I'm assuming you can't stipple because it's not really plastic. It's an epoxy type stuff.
Right.
If it did, it would
higher melting point.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that, though.
I mean, if you're really wanting to fix something and stipple it, the best way to do that is save all your tabs and everything and just melt plastic in it.
Yep. Oh, and I do bicolor.
And that is exactly what I do. You know how I talk about I like to mold in these mag wells?
Yep.
And they got that little friggin' screw in the back that you always see. Well, I'll take and I'll put a recess. Well, I'll take the same screw and I just grind all the stuff off of it and make my own reset screw. And I'll go down in there and leave a little bit in there and space left over, and I'll fill that space up with plastic that I've saved from the tabs I cut off, and then I can go back and I can stipple right over that. You'll never know it's there.
Good.
Yeah, I like your Magwell mods a lot. They look nice.
Oh yeah.
I mean, fantastic. Really, why would you want a magwell on there that you can take off? I mean, you're putting it on there for a reason. So
it becomes a permanent part of it, and I mean, most of them are cheap enough that if you do want to add one,
it really does change the feel. I mean, I don't know, it just feels more solid if you understand what I'm saying. When you mold it or glue it in the bottom, it feels like it's all one part.
And that's an ideal thing, so it doesn't fail, so that it's not, if that falls off, you're not really up the creek, but it's going to make it feel different. So
I like the aluminum ones because it adds a little weight. I think the butt end of all these P80s and like lone wolves and stuff, they need weight down there to balance them out
a little bit.
Once you load them, you have a loaded magazine in there, and you have that extra weight on the aluminum magwell. It just gives that weight in your hand and not on the barrel end. If you understand what I'm saying, it's just more comfortable for a shooter. That's me. Crickets.
Yeah, I was just sending out the StreamYard link into the chat real quick, figuring out if anybody else would like to join in, they'd be welcome to. Just if you do join in, as we found out, make sure you close your YouTube window. You'll be live with us in StreamYard, like Hawkeye is right now. You can choose to go invisible and still be heard. But
And you can also read the comments on the side.
yes, we do have that enabled too, which is handy dandy. You just can't respond as such, but that's fine. You'll be live. You can respond to that. Little bit of a delay between what we say and comments coming back to us because it takes a minute for the video to stream out and then also comments to be read back. But that's the nature of the beast. Still better than nothing. And if we had a backup for YouTube, we'd be using that. But unfortunately, YouTube is about the only platform that does this relatively well. You can reach out on like Odyssey. I know another person's recently done that, and okay, great, but they don't have comments. You can't talk back. It's just a one-way stream. And we like hearing from all of you, whether it's typed or, phone it in, as the case may be. Yeah, there we go. We'll have to do a dial-in call-in center one of these times. Bring it up with like a Google Voice number or something. We'll make it work. If anybody can make it work, it's me. I'll make it. But getting back to the subject for the evening, that cover your ass. You always expect the unexpected, like Mike Malley said a little earlier. I flashed that up earlier, but we got off on a tangent because that's what we do. Expect the unexpected, expect for failure, and plan that at least if one thing fails, you have a backup. When you go into a place, don't look for just one exit, look for two. Even if it's like, well, if I can't get the door, I got to break the window. Okay, fine, but have a plan. Always have a plan for that.
Hope for the best, plan for the worst,
and take what comes at you.
Yep.
Yes, sir. That's basically what I've been saying for years now. And expect the worst. Weapon just went poof. I don't know. Did you mean to take yourself off stream there, Weapon? He's talking. He'll come back on in a minute. He can add himself back on. But it's always going to fail. Something is going to break. No system works 100% of the time, whether it be a pistol or technology. I will often there's an audio set called Dante, and it's even set up so that you can have a side by side. So if your primary fails, your second one kicks in right like that. It just works. You don't really have that with a carry option, but that's why it might be a good idea to have a backup if you're going into a very dangerous situation. But
like John Wick.
Well, I mean, it's so all right. Personally, Keanu's all right and fine. I love the fact that he trained his butt off with Turn Tactical to do a lot of that stuff.
Great. Oh yeah, straight up.
But as far as the character himself,
he always seems to find a gun though.
Well, or he makes one depending on which.
Or takes one from somebody you just killed.
I mean, that could be an option, sure, okay. But here's hoping that none of us are ever in that sort of a situation. If so, then make sure you save your gold coins. Yeah. It's one of those things that I hope that nobody watching this live or watching in the future is ever in a situation where they need that backup or even their primary. But the world is a dangerous place. Things fail. Society is dangerous. It's,
to say the least.
We're not even before firearms existed, you'd carry swords and knives and spears and whatever because you never know. I mean, yes, Jesus said love thy neighbor, and I do, but I don't trust him for nothing. It's just one of those things. Like, thank you for sharing that weapon. Yep. Hey, there you go. Darth Dav's got it. Success favors the prepared. Amen. That is absolutely true. And no, you cannot prepare for every single eventuality. It's impossible because there are too many possibilities. But the more you prepare for, the better equipped you will be to handle whatever comes your way. Learn a little bit of everything. Be prepared for as much as you can be. I mean, we're our world right now is kind of crumbling. Kind of. There's a lot of political turmoil in our country and around the world. I don't know about any of y'all, but they've been saying, energy costs are going up, and I'm seeing it in my bills month to month. But what, we can't really plan for that, can we? Oh, yes, we can. Here's, an electric heater versus natural gas. On the other hand, where I'm at, a lot of our electricity is sourced by burning natural gas. So, I don't get it. But that's why I have solar panels on my house, which you can do yourself if you're not horribly unwilling to learn. Mr. Vino, what you got? COA is something I keep in mind daily. Amen. Thank God for that, and thank you for chiming in. You gotta cover your butt. You gotta cover your own ass, because ain't nobody else gonna do it. And if you have family or even friends that are not so inclined to defend themselves, you gotta be willing to step up and look out for them too.
And I know a few of us have probably gotten to the point where if we go out with our friends, your friend's like, "Oh, never mind, we're covered." You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
you go somewhere and your buddy looks at you and he's like, "So are you packing?" He's like, "Wait, never mind, we're covered. We're good."
They don't even have to ask. It's EDC means everyday carry for a reason.
Yep.
And again, it's a firearm, it's a knife, it's maybe a pepper spray if that's your thing, and some jurisdictions may be a little wonky on that. But hey, carry it. There's no reason not to. It gives you an option. You can't carry everything, including a kitchen sink, but you can have a few options with you. And if you got 3, that's better than 2. 2's better than 1. 1's better than none. Expect failure.
Yep.
But yeah, we're wow. We've been jabbering for 40 minutes already. That's not
I'll
bad.
add to that too. That mentality carries in not just your self-defense items, but other everyday carry essentials that you might pack it with you.
Yep. Even so far as to say, hey, keep a few extra bottles of water in the car because.
Yep.
And
yeah, I mean, living out like we do, our cars are always got a survival kit in them. Water, a little bit of snacks, blankets. I mean,
basic first aid kit.
Yeah, you should see my Jeep, man. I could jump on that Jeep and I got everything I need to start a fire, to keep alive. It's just, I don't know, it's just being prepared.
Well, and that's excellent because unfortunately a lot of folk, and especially city folk, I'm out myself here, we don't necessarily prepare for as much as we should. And a lot of skills are being lost.
I wouldn't say lost. I would say
it's a good point. A little bit of both, dude. Some from column A and some from column B.
Yeah.
You have, unfortunately, I'll put the shoulders resting on my generation solely. A lot of my generation's not passing on the things that, Hawkeye's generation or Nas's generation learned. Sadly, I do. I mean, I pass on as much as I can to, anybody of, a younger age than I am who may be within my vicinity. Anything I can teach them, dude. Anything I can pass on. Do the same.
I've been
pass it on. Make sure that they learn it.
I've been accused of being a homesteader, and I don't think so. I just prepare. I mean, I grow a lot of stuff. I hunt a lot of stuff. I'm just ready. You know, I don't like depending on a situation where I have to depend on others. I like being in control of my situation, so I think ahead.
Being self-sufficient is an admirable thing. Unfortunately, if our society were to collapse tomorrow, most of the people around where I live would be lost and die of starvation very quickly thereafter
Yeah,
because they wouldn't
the
know how to
zombies.
grow or kill or, hunt or whatever. Yes, Mr. Vino, self-sufficient. Exactly. That's exactly. You don't have to be called a homesteader or this or that. You don't even have to be called a prepper. Just self-sufficient. Being
Yeah,
able to take care of yourself and your family or
yeah,
friends.
that's what I've been doing. Uh, and around here, that's what we joke about is the zombies coming, and that's what it is. Is when the shit hits the fan, all these people from the city are going to come out here and try and take what you got. So
You know, and
instead
if
of
you're watching this and you are from the city, you like I am, get some knowledge of the country as well.
yeah, I mean
If you're
it's
watching this and you're from the country, vice versa.
I mean when the shit hits the fan, and from the people from the city starts moving out here, uh, don't don't come out here with the idea you're going to start taking stuff. Come out here with the idea of I want to learn, I want to help, because hey, I on my little property here I could grow enough to feed several families, but I can't do it on my own. So why don't you come out and help?
And that's a self-sustaining skill because if people are relying on taking and not learning, there's eventually going to be nothing to take.
Well, from my viewpoint of what I see on the news, that's what cities are all about now. Is the people in there are taking and not contributing, and I don't want to see it happen here, and I really doubt if something like that would even get along here. I don't know if you remember. I'm sure you do. Back when all those riots were going on with the Black Lives Matters crap, well, they tried to do that here in our little town. We blocked the main roads with garbage trucks and fire engines, and everybody on Main Street, positioned apart, all were carrying ARs, and it didn't happen. It was that simple. So, it's a mindset that I see from a small town to a large town that goes, oh, okay, well, we can let this happen, and that's what keeps happening.
It's almost like that harkens back to a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state. Yeah. Anybody want to follow up the rest of that one? The rights of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
A citizen army that can come up at any time to protect whatever, a lot of this would stop.
And that's
why they want all the good. That's why they want you to not have the ability to do that.
Yep.
I mean, history has shown time and again that
various civilizations,
an unarmed population, people that are unable to defend and stand up for themselves, are often taken advantage of. Quickly.
Romans, Greeks,
Germans.
I
mean, over and over and over again, whether it be a small context or a large one. And it doesn't matter where in the world you are. If you are unable or unwilling to defend yourself, you can expect to be taken advantage of.
That's right.
It's just, it's the way of the world, and it's unfortunate. And Lord, I wish that was not the case. But what we want the world to be and what the world is can be two very different things. So always cover your ass. And I don't swear a lot, but I'm going to say that again. Cover your ass.
And I know we talk about this a lot, and I know Ram especially talks about this a lot, but training. You can carry as many knives and guns as you want, but unless you have proper training with them, they're pointless.
If you don't know how to use your tools, you might as well not have them. Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't matter if it's a freaking shovel, an axe, a knife, or a gun. You better know how to use the darn thing. It's like, needing a driver's license to hop in a car. If you hop in a car without a driver's license, you might get where you're going, or you might get into an accident.
I use knives as a reference a lot to that whole training aspect. So I own 50, 60 different blades. What if I wasn't carrying this one tomorrow? What if I was carrying a different one? And I got into some sort of a situation where I needed to defend myself with a knife. Well, if I didn't train with every single one of them on a regular basis, I wouldn't know what their weight is. I wouldn't know their function. I wouldn't know how to open it under duress.
Nope, exactly.
I wouldn't know. Train.
Train with what you're going to use and be prepared to use everything you got, ideally.
Yep.
Now, I mean, if you have 500 knives or guns in your collection, that might spread things a little thin, but it's like peanut butter. You can still enjoy it.
And ammo's expensive.
And
knives are easy to sharpen.
And here's another and here's another thing, okay? Yes, knives are great, but also take a basic self-defense, if not a full-on martial arts course. I mean, so many are accessible. One really handy and I'm not going to say easy to learn, but I want to say easy to learn. Jiu-jitsu. It's highly effective even when you begin to learn it, and then when you get better at it, ooh, good stuff. That also helps you know yourself. Damn it, nothing.
Yep.
But yeah, Mr.
And if you find a studio near you, if you're interested in getting to something like that, find a studio near you. Do your research on the teacher of that studio, because there's a lot of fakes out there. They get a studio, they start setting up classes, and you may as well be learning martial arts from Mr. Bean. So
I mean, that could be funny. Sorry, that was a great visual. All right, but yeah,
I'll just picture Mr. Bean doing martial arts now.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Bean's, the next Karate Kid. It's fine. But yeah, cover your butt now. And I flashed up a second ago, and then we got to talk. I'm going to put it up here again. Mr. Bean said, physically, legally, and emotionally cover your ass. Now, he said the legally part there, and that's also very good, because every jurisdiction has different laws. You need to be responsible to know the laws of your jurisdiction, and ideally, anywhere you're going to go, at least broad strokes, because we are a very litigious society, you can expect to get into legal trouble if you defend yourself. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it's a fact. So cover your butt. Thank you, Mr. Vino, for that drop. Appreciate it.
Know the laws of your area for sure, Nas. Absolutely. Cover your own butt. Know when, where, and how you can defend yourself within the city that you're in.
At the very least. At the very least. And like if you're on a border, like I am, know the surrounding area. Just because it can be vastly different between Massachusetts and New York, for example. Ooh. On the other hand, if it's Massachusetts and New Hampshire or Vermont, then it's like, oh, let's go on a trip. Oh, God. But like Massachusetts kind of sucks. It's a duty to retreat state. So you can't just up and stand your ground. You have to do everything you can to back off, get away, de-escalate. And even then, if you do, and you end up having to defend yourself still, even though you've done everything under the sun, you could still be in trouble legally, which is, again, where you need to cover yourself legally. And I'm going to plug this here. Ram's an instructor and a member. The USCCA, if you're going to carry, it's a pretty good idea to have that backup insurance.
Very good idea.
It's relatively inexpensive compared to a lawsuit and a lawyer's normal fees. And, know your laws as best you can. Ask a lawyer if you need to, and have that insurance backup for yourself, because it's worth it. It's worth it. Peace of mind. Peace of mind.
Yep.
But Hawkeye, you got anything else to contribute to that subject, sir? No. All right. All right. We're just shy of that hour marker, but I think I've pretty much said everything I needed to say on the cover your butt, thing there. And we've got a lot of good feedback from the audience. Thank you very much for chiming in.
Thank you, everybody.
It's been a wonderful thing being able to sit here and talk to all y'all. Ram is going to be gone again next week. We have something in the pipes for that. We'll get there. We'll get there. And then the week after we have something fun suggested. So make sure you keep tuning in every Tuesday night or 10 o'clock Eastern. Again, you can always join in if you want to, like Hawkeye did. We'll try and post that StreamYard link. It's easy. I mean, anybody can click in and hop in and join and say your piece. We can't show any firearms live because YouTube, but that's really about the only restriction here, I mean, show your sharp and shinies as much as you want, just not if they don't. They just can't go boom.
Okay. Hey, weapons. How do you sharpen your knives?
So I actually use a WorkSharp Pro electric.
Do you?
Yep. So I am an old school sharpener, always have been. So whetstone and a leather strap. So that's typically how I do it. But recently, about 4 or 5 months ago, I picked up a WorkSharp Pro Ken Onion Edition one, and phenomenal. Phenomenal. You also get yourself a little mini bench grinder out of it, basically. They also sell an additional attachment for it, which is literally makes it a mini bench grinder that you can do axe heads on and larger
handy.
swords and stuff like that. So
I've been thinking about changing from the old way with the stones and stuff, because skinning out a bunch of deer and cutting up meat and stuff, I end up having to sharpen these knives a couple of times during the process. Either that or I need some better knives that hold an edge. But it seems like every time I sharpen one and it hits a bone, they're dull again, and I got to sharpen.
Hold up before we end the stream. I'll pop up what I use here.
I'm not in a rush to end it. I appreciate that information. It's good that you mentioned the axes. As much as I like my knives, I prefer a throwing axe. Sorry.
Axes, hatchets. Garden tools.
I especially like my Molly hatchet. But sorry, it's a music joke. But yeah, and taking care of your tools is another way to cover your ass.
Yeah.
If you can't take care of your tools, what are you going to do when that breaks or wears out, right?
I always try to sharpen everything after I use it. So
I mostly try to sharpen my wit. Yeah, you got to. Being able to build it's nice. Being able to take care of it's just as good, if not better. I personally sharpen with a stone, but we're not getting any younger. All right, what you got there, weapon? Add to stream, douche. Oh, were you not ready for that? Sorry, my dude.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I was trying to just share the one.
I got you. Yeah, StreamYard's a little finicky when it comes to that.
No, yeah, I just had to change it to window. There we go.
All right. There. I keep forgetting you have the control for it too, because
I sure do, buddy.
All right.
But yeah, this is what I'm using. This is not a website that I've used. It just happened to be the one that popped up that showed the full system.
All right.
Over on the right side of the screen, you have the Ken Onion WorkSharp Edition sharpener. And then on the left side of the screen is the attachment, which gives you a flat surfaced style bench grinder.
Very nice. And that's
So,
not a
here you go.
bad price either. Yeah, I can see where that'd be handy. Looks
Yep.
like a good size, but manageable. Good price.
Dude, I can do a 8-piece kitchen set in 10 minutes
Wow.
with this system, dude.
Dang, that's pretty sharp.
So it's basically just different grits of sandpaper.
Yeah, essentially, and then you even get like a little cloth strap.
Huh.
And then if I can pop up,
Because they make those bench grinders like that with the 1-inch belt, and then they got the disc on the side. You could probably use one of those and just keep changing out the grits on the sandpaper belts.
yeah, so I'll zoom in here. The great thing about having a touchscreen, that makes that so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could just hit their Control +++, but yeah, it's a lot easier with a touchscreen.
But yeah, you can see here you've got where you slide your blade, and on either side of it, you have an edge guide that you can use to change.
Yeah, that actually
you've got-
helps hold your angle on your
Dude,
cut
the
too.
thing is slick, man. Super slick.
I'm probably
Love it.
gonna have to pick one of them up.
Love
Yeah.
it,
All right.
dude.
Very nice.
Takes
very
up a little
nice.
bit of space, but the little tiny belts that you can get for it, there's literally thousands of different varieties out there. You
Excellent.
can get them anywhere from your super cheap belts all the way up to your suede leather belts and stuff like that.
Was just gonna ask if we can get a leather one for him just for doing that final.
Yep.
final.
You can get a
Okay.
strap. I have a little cloth one on mine, which is a leather-esque. So for putting your final polished edge on a blade, the cloth strap that it comes with is phenomenal.
Well, that's
Excellent.
awesome. I got to
Cool.
look into those. I'm
Well,
getting too old to sit there with a stone all the time.
Yeah, well,
Especially when you got about 20 plus 50 knives,
my dad gave me this piece of advice. I'll pass on to y'all. Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
It's
that would be smarter. Unless
yeah.
electricity went out, then back to the stone.
Well, I mean, and that's where you have a backup. You know
Yeah.
how to do it the hard way, even though you can do it the easier way, right?
That's correct.
All right. So
You know
we're
how
all
to
gonna
start
cover
the
it.
generator.
I mean, I have
Oh,
my
yeah.
stones, but I also have a little work sharp field sharpener, and that gives me the carbide, the ceramic stone,
Yeah.
and then on the other side there's also a serration sharpener.
Okay.
I don't know exactly which one that is, but it's the field sharpener by Work Sharp.
But
Okay.
you can sharpen serrated blades.
Yeah, it's got a serration rod on it.
Cool.
I used to do those with files, round files, to sharpen them.
So yeah, those 10 onion edition Work Sharps go for about $139. The attachment's about $80.
Darth Dev commented on my Molly Hatchet thing. I just had to throw him up there because yes, that's me. Sorry, I had to, bud. But so yes, cover your ass. Have a backup, and maybe even a backup for the backup. A plan for as much as you possibly can. Be able to maintain your tools as much as build them. Right. Okay.
Yep.
I think we've covered all the basics of the cover your ass mindset. Tune in next week for something completely different. All right. I think if it's okay with the two of y'all, I think I'm gonna start throwing that outro up there, and we're gonna sign off for tonight.
Sounds good. Everybody have a good night, man. I'll see you guys next Tuesday.
And a special shout out, thank you, Hawkeye, for dropping in and giving us your knowledge and your expertise and experience, because I do personally appreciate it. It was definitely unexpected, but very much a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Peace out.